about that? Well, let's talk about the heart first of all. There are three principles that I want you to know to start with. Principle number one is to recognize that parents are the best counselors for their children if they have a good plan. I have to say that because so many parents think, oh, my child has a patterned response, and because this is a pattern, I've got to take them to a counselor. Now, maybe counselors are helpful, but I find that children don't learn as well sitting on a couch or playing with sand in sand therapy as they do in the day-to-day integration of solutions in family life. So I have dedicated my life to parents and training them to be the coaches for their children. If I can train parents to know how to work with their kids using a heart-based approach, we can see major changes in their lives. So that's what I'm trying to do here, is to give you these ideas that will help you as we're moving forward here in your work. So I believe in parents. Number one, they are the best counselors for their children. And how do they teach? They teach on the way. Remember in Deuteronomy chapter 6 when God says, hey, take these principles that I've just told you and put them on your heart and then impress them on your children as you walk along the road, as you get up, as you go lay down. And as you do that, you're impressing these on your children. That is the best way that children learn. And so if I can show you techniques and strategies to implement that in your parenting, then the way that you work with your children when they get up in the morning, the way you work with them before they go to bed, the way that you get homework done, the way you call them to the table, the way you deal with the problems we have in the bathroom and the mess we have there, all those things take on a new dimension because now we're working on a process. It's not just about the task, it's about the process. And character is learned in the process, and children need these things in order to be strong and in order to have the life skills that they need as they're moving forward. So that's the first principle, is that parents are the best counselors for their children if they have a good plan. The second principle is that training is more valuable than correction alone. I find it sad that many parents overemphasize correction. If you do this, I'm going to do this to you. When you're doing this all the time, if you do this, I'm going to do this to you, then what happens to those children? I mean, it's a lot of negativity in the parenting process. We do not have to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to help our children learn some powerful things, and we're going to do it through training. What does training look like? Well, I'm going to show you that as I get further on here. I'm going to talk about training and how to deal with patterned responses in children, tendencies they have to do the wrong thing, and we're going to talk about those. And so I'm going to give you some very specific ideas about that. The third principle, so just remember that. It's going to be important. Training is more powerful than correction alone. We're going to still use correction, but training is your key to maximizing change in children. We have